Let's continue our topic in Romans chapter 1 verse 16 about the gospel of Christ. This time, we will see more clearly the big difference between the faith professed by many and the faith that God wants to see in us. Let's read the text again. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believe. The word believe mentioned here is not an ordinary one as many suppose, but rather it is a kind of faith that pleases God, which we can read in Hebrews chapter 11 in verse 6. But without faith, it is impossible to please God. Christ explained this in more detail and with greater emphasis in Luke chapter 14 and verse 26. Take note of these verses. If any man come to me and hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brethren and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. This may sound hard and extreme. Yes, but the truth behind this is given in the next verses. Again, take note of this. Let's read. In verse 28, for which of you, intending to build a tower, sit not down first and count the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it, lest after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold will begin to mock at him. So Jesus Christ is telling us here that unless we make an entire surrender to God of ourselves, our faith will only become like the unfinished building, which means we will not be able to continue to the end. But sooner or later, we will give up. We will backslide. That's the truth. And he continued to explain it in the next verse, verse 31. Or what king going to make war against another king sit not down first and consult whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him or to overcome him that come against him with 20,000. So again, the Lord is showing us here the truth. Yes, the truth. That even in our best capacity as human being, unless we make a total and entire decision to surrender ourselves to God. Friend, it is impossible for us to win this battle of faith because the stronger enemy that Christ wants to show us here is no other than the devil. Yes, the devil is the stronger enemy. And the only way that we can overcome him and triumph over him is by laying our life in total surrender to God. Apostle Paul tells us about this in Galatians chapter 2 verse 20. It says, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Yes, that's the only way we can triumph over the devil. If we give Christ the chance to take over our life and fight the battle of faith for us. That's the only way we can overcome, we can defeat the devil that is much, much stronger than any humans. So here, friends, again, it clearly shows and tells us why there are so many backsliding in the churches. Because humans simply cannot triumph over the devil, but only by inviting Christ to take over our life, by surrendering, total surrender of ourselves to Him.